Hello, 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 hello. Okay, thank you. Hello, hello everyone. Am I audible to all? Hello everyone. Am I audible to all? Hey guys, there is some technical issue, so we will be back in few minutes. Okay, so just hold on for few minutes. Okay, so finally we are back, guys. So am I audible to all? Please give me an S, all of you. If I'm audible, please give me an S, all of you. And then we shall be starting for today's session. Yes, guys, I'm waiting for your reply. Shall we start for today's session? Okay then. Yes, Kavya Kumar, thank you for your response. So today we are going to start. Yes, Trisha, thank you. Then we shall begin for today's class. So in today's class, the topic for the today's discussion. Hello, Jivita. Hello, Akshaya. It's nice to see you all again. So sorry for the last lecture that we suddenly stopped streaming. All right. So in this lecture, we are going to cover breathing and exchange of gases. In this lecture, please ask it then and there itself, and we will be clarifying it as soon as possible. Okay. So let's begin. So starting with question number 1. The figure shows a diagrammatic view of human respiratory system which is labeled as A, B, C and D. Select the option which gives correct identification and main function and or characteristic of that labeled. So this is the diagram. This is A, this is B, this is C and this is D. So option number A is B. B is pleural membrane and it surrounds ribs on both sides to provide cushion against rubbing. C. Option B is that C is alveoli and it is a thin walled vascular bag-like structure for the exchange of gases. Option C, that is D is lower end of the lungs and diaphragm pulls it down during the inspiration. And option D, A is trachea. It is a long tube supported by a complete cartilaginous rings for conducting inspired air. So what will be the answer for this question? Yes, Trisha is first to answer and other guys also, Akshay, Kavya, Jivita. Yes, all of you are correct. So the answer for this question is option B, that is alveolar. Now let us see each of the labeling one by one. So the A over here is absolutely A is trachea. Okay, A is trachea. Then what is wrong in this question? The wrong thing is that it is covered, okay, it is supported by an incomplete cartilaginous rings. Okay, this is the ring of the cartilage which surround the trachea. So it is incomplete at the back. That is why this is wrong. Option B, B is pleural membrane. Okay, B is pleural membrane, but it is not surrounded by ribs on both the side. Okay, this pleura is surrounded by ribs on one side and on the other side lungs are present. So this option is also incorrect. Now coming to option C, yes, definitely the structure over here is the alveoli, and alveoli is the basic structure where the exchange of gases take place in the lung. And the D part is not the lower end of lungs. This D part, it is the diaphragm. So this option is also incorrect. So the correct option over here is option B. Okay, as all of you have pointed it out. Now coming to the question number 2. So question number 2 is, which one of the following is a possibility for most of us in regard to breathing by making a conscious effort? Option A, one can breathe out air totally without oxygen. Option B, one can breathe out air through the Eustachian tubes by closing both the nose and the mouth. Option C, one can consciously breathe in and breathe out by moving the diaphragm alone without moving the ribs at all. And option D, the lungs can be made fully empty by forcefully breathing out all the air from them. So what will be the answer for this question? So here we are basically talking about the mechanism of the breathing. So we have to first be clear that how the breathing occurs. So see for yourself. Actually, this is the nose. This is the nose, and this nose has the nostril. It has the nostril. Now this nostril, okay, this is the palate. So this nostril leads to an area, it is known as nasal passage. It leads to an area, nasal passage. This nasal passage opens into another area, and that area is known as the pharynx. This area is known as the pharynx. And as I have discussed earlier also, that pharynx is the common passage for both oral cavity and the nasal cavity. Okay, so from the pharynx, this is the trachea. This is the trachea that opens, and the other thing that opens is the esophagus. So pharynx open into the trachea. So if you are closing the mouth, okay, if you are closing the mouth and the nose, then also there is one important structure, and that structure that opens over here, and this structure that opens over here is known as the Eustachian tube. It is known as the Eustachian tube. This, as you can see me, this Eustachian tube connects your nose, okay, nose, and that is the pharynx part, to the ear. Okay, so it connects. So this is the ear. So there is a tube. That tube connects nose. This is ear, and it connects it to the pharynx part. So if you try, if the ear, this is a tympanic membrane. If the tympanic membrane ruptures, then if you try and block your nose and mouth also, then also you can breathe through your ears. Okay, but if that is happening, then it is a pathological thing. Okay, and that is not cool, or that is not normal. Okay, so this is a pathological thing. So yes, we can breathe out air through the Eustachian tube by closing both the nose and the mouth, and this is the mechanism that I have explained you. Yes, Jivita, you are absolutely right. Yes, Kavya Kumar, Trisha, Akshay, you all are right. So the correct answer here would be option B. And we cannot breathe out air totally without the oxygen, because our body is not so much efficient that all the oxygen that we take is absorbed. Okay, so this is impossible for us. And we cannot consciously breathe in and breathe out by just moving the diaphragm alone, because diaphragm is not completely a skeletal muscle or a voluntary muscle, and that is why if your chest are not moving at all, then you cannot control the diaphragm. So option C is incorrect. Now coming to option number D, the lungs cannot be made fully empty by forcefully breathing out all the air from them. And why it is this? It is because there is the air that is known as the residual volume. This is the volume that will always be present in your lungs if you breathe hard as much as possible. Okay, so option D is also incorrect. So the correct answer is option B, as Jivita pointed it out. Now, so the option is option B. Now coming to question number 3. The question number 3 is, bulk of the carbon dioxide that is released from the body tissues into the blood is present as. So see, what is the function of the respiration? The function of the respiration is that we have to take the oxygen, and this oxygen with glucose is converted into carbon dioxide and water vapor. And also the main thing that we have to produce is the ATP. Okay, so carbon dioxide is the waste part. It is the waste, so we have to remove it out from the body, isn't it? So there has to be a mechanism, and the exchange of gases, all the exchange of gases takes place from the lungs. All the exchange of gases takes place from the lungs in the alveoli. Okay, and this carbon dioxide, it is produced at the cell level. It is produced at the cell level. So from the cell to the lungs, it travels in the blood. Okay, so there has to be some mechanism or something from which this carbon dioxide can travel from this cell into the lungs, isn't it? So what is that mechanism? What is the major mechanism? Yes, Jivita, again, you are absolutely right. Yes, Trisha, yes, Akshay, yes, Kavya, you are absolutely right. Okay, so see, so majority of the carbon dioxide is converted into bicarbonic acid. Okay, bicarbonic acid in the presence of an important enzyme, that is frequently asked in the examination, and that is carbonic anhydrase, and then this bicarbonate is further dissociated into SCO3 minus plus H plus. Okay, and this bicarbonate travels from this cell into the lungs, and in the lungs, again in the lungs also, carbonic anhydrase is present, and this reaction is reversed. It means that From the bicarbonate, carbon dioxide is produced, and that carbon dioxide goes into the alveoli, and from the alveoli out from your body. Okay, so the majority of the carbon dioxide, that is 70 to 75% of the carbon dioxide, is traveling in your body as the bicarbonate, and the other forms in which it is traveling is carbaminohemoglobin. It is the carbaminohemoglobin and dissolved in the plasma, but this occurs in a very minor quantity, and that is not so much useful for your examination. Now coming to question number 3 and question number 4. So question number 4 is that skin is an accessory organ for respiration in which of the following animal? So option A is humans, option B is frog, option C is rabbit, and option D is the lizard. So what will be the answer for this question? So see, each and every organism has got its own mechanism for the respiration, from simple cell to humans and large organism. Okay, so if we are talking about the unicellular organism means only a single cell is present. Only a single cell is present, and it is capable of living alone. So there is nothing needed. Okay, so from the surface itself, the oxygen can be absorbed. All right, but higher animals need some of the structure from which the respiration is taking place. Yes, Trisha, yes, Kavya, yes, Akshaya, yes, Jivita, all of you are absolutely correct. So see, what is the mechanism in different organism? This is important part, and it is frequently asked in the examination also. So see, you have to remember the organisms and the mechanism, okay, as it is given it out over there. So the sponges, coelentrates, and the flatworms, they are this very simple organism, and in these simple organisms, it is via this simple diffusion. Okay, simple organism, simple diffusion. Okay, now if you have seen the earthworm, the skin of the earthworm is known as the cuticle. So this is the earthworm, and the skin is having the cuticle, and when this cuticle is moist, it means when the water is present over the cuticle, okay, in the presence of water, the oxygen dissolves in the water, and from the water it goes inside the body of the earthworm. So in the earthworm, it is through the moist cuticle. Then the insect is very interesting thing. In the insect, there are tubes present. Okay, suppose this is the insect, then there are tube present in the insect, and this tube connects each and every cell of the insect, and via this tube, that is known as the tracheal tubes, the oxygen from the atmosphere goes inside each and every cell of the body. Then in the other organisms like the arthropods and the mollusk and the fishes, as you all know, and the fishes, gills are present. Okay, gills are present, and in the reptiles, birds, and mammals, and in the humans, lungs are present, and the amphibians like the frogs, they can respire through the moist skin. So the correct answer over here is option B, that is frog. So Bhuvaneshwar Bhuvana sir, why don't you solve into Abhyas questions? Please do not do that, sir. For physics it was excellence. Please do that for chemistry and bio too. Hey guys, you can ask me in this lecture about biology only. Okay, if you have any doubt regarding this lecture, then you can ask me in between, and the other question I will take it at the end if you have to ask any other thing. Okay guys, now coming to question number 5. So question number 5 is, listed below are 4 respiratory capacities from 1 to 4, and there are 4 jumbled respiratory volumes of a normal human adult. So they are, 1 is respiratory volume, 2 is vital capacity, 3 is inspiratory reserve volume, and 4 it is the inspiratory capacities. So these are the 4 columns, and these are the volumes that is given over here. Okay, now you have to match this the option in the column with this volume. So for this, you need to know the basic measurement of each of the respective volume, and this is also important for the examination. So so we all know that the lungs is having various capacity, okay, capacity and volumes. What exactly is the capacity? When we add, the capacity is the amount of air that we can take in and take out at a time. Okay, that is the capacity. And the volume is when we add the capacities, we get the volumes. Okay, Now I want you all to remember some of the basic volume, and if you some of the basic volume, and sorry, I have missed it. I have given it wrong. Volume is the volume of air taken in and out at one particular time, and the addition and the when the volumes are when the volumes are added, we get the capacity. Okay, I want all of you to remember four basic volumes, and if you know all these four volumes, you can yes, Bhuvaneshwari, I will reply you at the end. Okay, just let us first cover all these 30 questions. Okay, so I want you all to remember this four volumes. Okay, and if you remember these four volumes, you can get into any of the capacity that is present in our body. So that volumes are: residual volume, it is 1200 ml; tidal volume, it is 500 ml; inspiratory reserve volume, it is 2500 to 3000 ml; and expiratory reserve volume, it is 1000 to 1100 ml. So see, we have to see in biology, if options are not always absolute, so you have to reach to the nearest correct option. Okay, so let us see. So residual volume, how much is the residual volume? Residual volume is 1200. Okay, so let us see the option number 1. So it has to be 1200. It is wrong, so this can be correct. Vital capacity, okay, leave the vital capacity, it is the larger volume. Just we will be sticking around only this volumes, okay, not the capacity. Now coming to the inspiratory reserve volume, how much is the inspiratory reserve volume? It is 2500 to 3000 ml. So 2500 to 3000 ml is the third part. So this is also incorrect, this is also incorrect. So only then coming to the inspiratory capacity. Inspiratory capacity is the inspiratory reserve volume plus the tidal volume. Inspiratory reserve volume is 3000 and the tidal volume is the 500. So the total is 3500. So the correct answer is option C, that is 3500 ml and 1200 ml. I hope it is fine with all of you. Okay, now moving on to question number 6. Air is breathed out through. So in this we are asking the passage of the air from the lungs into the nose, or from the nose into the lungs. Both are the same thing. Okay, so option A, it is trachea to lungs, then larynx, then pharynx, then alveoli. Then option number B, nose to larynx to pharynx to bronchus to alveoli and then to bronchioles. Option C, nostril, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, alveoli. Option D is nose, mouth and lungs. Yes guys, all of you are correct. Kavya Kumar, Akshaya, Jivita, Trisha, as usual all of you are correct. So see, I have told you again also. So see, this is the nose, and in the nose, this is the nostril part. Then the nostril goes to the nasal passage. The nasal passage goes to the pharynx. Then pharynx goes into the larynx, and then larynx into the trachea, and then this trachea goes into the bronchi. This is the bronchi, and then this bronchi goes into the bronchioles. The bronchioles are primary bronchioles. Then the bronchioles are the primary bronchioles, then the secondary bronchioles and the tertiary bronchioles. Okay, so from the bronchioles, from trachea to the initial part of the tertiary bronchioles, we have incomplete cartilage. This you all have to remember. Okay, so I have told you the whole path. So the whole path, as you can all see it is from pharynx to the larynx, then the trachea, then the bronchi, then the bronchioles, and finally to the part where exchange is occurring, and that is the alveoli. So the correct answer is option C. Now coming to question number 7. When you hold your breath, which of the following gas changes in blood would first lead to urge to breathe? So if you try holding your breath, which of the gas will accumulate in the air, will accumulate in your body, that will lead to urge of the body to increase the respiration? So option A, rising carbon dioxide concentration. Option B, falling carbon dioxide concentration. Option C, rising carbon dioxide and falling oxygen concentration. And option D, it is the falling oxygen concentration. Okay. So see, if you try to guess for this question, we will all say that oxygen is very important in our body. So majority, if they have not read, they will say that it is the oxygen level that is important for the respiration. Okay, but it is not the case. The primary air, the primary component of the air that is responsible for initiating the respiration in our body is the carbon dioxide. So when you try to hold your breath, what will happen that when you try to hold your breath, carbon dioxide from the cell will not go out because the nose is closed, isn't it? If the nose is closed, carbon dioxide will build up, and then this will stimulate the center in the medulla. It will stimulate this center in the medulla, and then it will activate the respiratory muscle, and you will start breathing again. Okay, and you will start breathing again. So the correct answer is option A, that is the rising carbon dioxide concentration. And Bhuvana, actually the thing is that it is not the insignificant nature of that, but the thing is in the medulla there is sensitivity for acid. The carbon dioxide goes there, okay, carbonic acid is formed, and that acid stimulates the medulla, and then that medulla stimulates the respiratory center of our body. Okay, so the correct answer, as you all have pointed out, is option A, that is the rising carbon dioxide concentration. Now coming to question number 8. Question number 8, it is, figure shows schematic plan of blood circulation in humans labeled as A to D. Identify the label and give its function. So this is the diagram, and in this diagram there are four labels present. Okay, the 4 labeling is present, and you have to identify each of this labeling, and from this labeling you have to say that which of the option is correct. So option A is the pulmonary artery takes blood from heart to lungs. Option B, you need not know these values, okay, just know the arteries or the vein. Option B, that C is the vena cava option, and it takes blood from body parts to the right auricle. Option C, D is the dorsal aorta, and it takes blood from heart to the body part. And option D, A is the pulmonary vein, and it takes impure blood from body parts to the other system. Okay, now tell me which one will be the correct answer. So for this I need to tell you that one basic thing that you all should remember, and that is, if the vessels are going away from the heart, okay, like this one, this is going away from the heart, okay, this is going away from the heart, then that vessel are known as artery. And if the vessels are coming towards the heart, then we will be adding the word vein to them. Okay, then we will be adding the word vein to them. Okay, so let us see what will be the correct answer. So see, first of all we will cover it one by one. So option A. So option A, this is the lungs. Okay, this is the lungs, and this is the heart. Okay, yes Chivita, you are the first one to answer. Let us see. Okay, so see, what is A? A has to be vein. So A is the pulmonary vein. Okay, A is the pulmonary vein, and pulmonary vein takes the blood from lungs to the heart, isn't it? So this is A. Now B is the aorta. Okay, you can say it aorta or the dorsal aorta. What aorta will do is that aorta will take the blood from heart to all the body parts. Okay, then C is the vein, and that vein is known as the vena cava. And vena cava will take the blood from all the body parts. It is opposite to that of the aorta, from all the body parts into the heart. Okay, and what is D? D is the pulmonary artery. And pulmonary artery will take the blood from heart into the pulmonary artery, from where it will take? From heart into the lungs. So tell me, what will be the correct answer over here? So the correct answer here would be option B. That is, C is the vena cava, and it takes blood, and C is the vena cava, and it takes blood from all the body parts to the right auricle. Okay, and this is the mechanism. This is the path. Now coming to question number 9. So question number 9 is, the figure given below shows a small part of the human lung where exchange of gases takes place, and in which of the following options given below the one part A, B, C or D is correctly identified along with its function. So here the diagram is given, and this diagram is labeled, okay, and it is labeled as A, B, C and D, and you have to identify each of this diagram, each of this marking, and you have to tell the function of that marking. Okay, so see here, so this is the broken down diagram taken from the NCERT itself. Okay, taken down from the NCERT itself. So what is A? A is the alveolar cavity. Okay, what is B? B is the red blood cells. What is D? D is the basement membrane, and it is present in between the capillaries and the alveoli. And what is D? B is the C is the blood. Actually, there is some mismatch in the marking. Okay, actually C is the blood capillary, B is the red blood cells, D is the basement membrane, and A is the alveolar capacity. Okay, now you have to identify the function of each of this. So the option A is saying that B is red blood cell, and it is saying that it transport carbon dioxide mainly. No, it doesn't transport carbon dioxide mainly, because it is the plasma that takes the bicarbonates from the tissues to the lungs. So it is not the correct option. Option B is saying that C is capillary. Okay, and capillary passes oxygen to the tissues. Okay, so it is also not occurring here, because it is the RBC that passes the oxygen to the tissues. Option C is the alveolar capacity, and it is the main site of exchange of respiratory gases, and it is, as you all know, that it is true, and it is asked in various examinations, so mind it. And option D is capillary wall. So capillary wall is the exchange, it is the place where exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place. So it is also false, because it is the alveolar cavity. It is the alveolar cavity. Okay, so it is here that the exchange takes place. So what is the correct answer, all of you? So yes, Kavya, yes, Trisha, yes, Jivita, yes, Akshaya, you all are right. The correct answer over here is option C. Now coming to question number 10. A large proportion of oxygen is left unused in the human blood even after its uptake by the body tissue. And this oxygen does. What is the role of this oxygen that is left unused in our body? Okay, so option A is that it acts as a reserve during muscle exercise. Option B is it raises the partial pressure of the carbon dioxide of blood to 75 mm of mercury. Option C, it is enough to keep oxyhemoglobin saturation at 96%. And option D, it helps in releasing more oxygen to the tissues. So what is the correct answer? So see, we take lot of oxygen in our lungs, okay, but when we breathe, we do not breathe out all the we do not take in all the oxygen that we have breathed in. So there is some oxygen that we never utilize in our blood, and that oxygen acts as a reserve. It acts as a reserve. Okay, suppose if you are going somewhere, okay, and if you fall in any trouble, then you have to run, isn't it? And for running you need energy, or for doing exercise also you need energy, isn't it? And if the oxygen is not present, the glucose cannot be utilized. So the body knows that there can be an emergency situation where we have to produce excess energy, and for that situation the bodies try to store some of the oxygen unused, okay, so that it can be used during the exercise or the emergency situation. So yes, the correct answer here should be option A, that it acts as a reserve for the exercise or the emergency. Now coming to question number 11. So when carbon dioxide concentration in the blood increases, breathing becomes Okay, actually this is an interesting question because I do not need to answer this. If you want the answer, just close your nostril and sit for 1 minute and you will automatically get the answer for this question. So option A, that breathing becomes shallower and slow. Option B, there is no effect on breathing. Option C, the breathing is slow and deep. And option D, it is saying that breathing is faster and deeper. So see, we have discussed earlier, if we close the nostril, the carbon dioxide will not leave your body, isn't it? The carbon dioxide cannot leave your body. So the carbon dioxide cannot leave our body, so it stimulates the medulla. It will stimulate the medulla. Medulla will stimulate the respiratory system, and after that we will be taking faster and deeper. Okay, faster and deeper respiration, so that more oxygen goes into the body to satisfy the need. So the correct option here would be option D. Alright. Now coming to question number 12. The exchange of gases in the alveoli of the lungs takes place by. Okay. So what is the mechanism by which the exchange of gases takes place in the alveoli? That is in the lungs. So this is the alveoli. This is the basement membrane that is present in between the alveoli and this is the capillaries. Okay, this is the capillaries. So there has to be some mechanism by which the gas enters from the alveoli into the lungs. Okay, from the alveoli into the lungs. So see, it is we are talking about gas. We are talking about gas. Okay, and we cannot control gas. We cannot just control gas and push it somewhere. Okay, it is haphazard. So that is why you don't need any of the. We do not need any of the channel. Okay, we do not need any of the channel. It will go by itself, and if we do not need any channel, there is no transport. Okay, if there is no transport, then no active and no passive transport. And osmosis is the process that is occurring for the water. So option B is also incorrect. So the correct option here is option A, that is simple diffusion. That is, oxygen simply goes from the alveoli into the blood capillaries. So the correct answer is option A. Now coming to question number 13. Although much of the carbon dioxide is carried in blood, yet blood does not become acidic because option A, it is absorbed by the leukocyte. Option B, blood buffers play an important role in carbon dioxide transport. Option C, it combines with the water to form bicarbonic acid, which is neutralized by the sodium bicarbonate. And option D, it is continuously diffused through the tissues and it is not allowed to accumulate. Okay, so yes, it is very true. So Kavya, yes, any other who would like to answer for this question? So let us see. Okay, so we have said that carbon dioxide is released from the blood, isn't it? And the blood will become acidic. But you do not want this. Okay, so you have to neutralize this bicarbonic acid. So you will think that the answer has to be sodium bicarbonate. Okay, but that is wrong because we are not producing sodium bicarbonate in our body, isn't it? So there are certain buffers, they are present in the blood, and bicarbonate itself will neutralize the pH change in our blood, and hence the pH will be normalized throughout. Okay, if you go on increasing the carbon dioxide also. So the correct answer, as the Kavya already pointed out, the correct answer is option B. That is, blood buffers play an important role in the carbon dioxide transport. Now coming to question number 14. Question number 14 says that carbon dioxide is transported from tissues to the respiratory surface by only. So carbon dioxide is made inside the tissues, then from the tissues it goes into the blood, from blood into the lungs. So what are the things that take the carbon dioxide from tissues to the lungs? Is it option A, that is plasma and the erythrocyte? Is it option B, that is plasma only? Is it option C, that is erythrocytes, or is it option D, that is erythrocytes and the leukocyte? So tell me. So see, so some of the carbon dioxide that is present, it is dissolved in the plasma. It is 7%. 7% of the, yes, Kavya is the first one to know. So it is the Akshaya. Very well, Akshaya, she is the first one to answer. and the rest are also answering. So see, there are three mechanisms. There are three mechanisms by which the carbon dioxide is traveling from tissues into the lungs. The first one is the plasma. First one is the plasma, and in it only 7% of the carbon dioxide is being transported. Second one is the bicarbonate. So I told you that 70% of the carbon dioxide is traveling by the bicarbonates, and it is a major portion of the carbon dioxide. Okay, it is important question. And the third one is the carbaminohemoglobin. Okay, carbon dioxide combines with the hemoglobin and forms carbaminohemoglobin, and this carbaminohemoglobin goes to the lungs. Then in the lungs, this CO2 and hemoglobin dissociates and CO2 is released out. So what are the mechanism? Okay, it is plasma and erythrocyte. Okay, leukocyte doesn't play the role, and only plasma and only erythrocytes. Okay, here the only word is there, that is why B, C and D, three options are incorrect. So the correct answer is option A, that is plasma and the erythrocytes. Now coming to question number 15. Which of the following volume or capacity of lungs cannot be measured directly by the spirometer? Option A, residual volume. Option B, functional residual capacity. Option C, it is a total capacity. And option D, is it all of this? So before that, we need to know that what is spirometer and how does it act. Okay, what is spirometer? Okay, so spirometer is an instrument in which you have to blow the air out. Okay, it is an instrument in which you have to blow the air out. Okay, so you know that some amount of air cannot be blown outside your body, isn't it? And what is that known as? That is known as residual volume. Okay, it is known as residual because even if you breathe so hard, then also it will be remaining there as a residue. So residual volume will not go out. If it is not going out, it will not be taken by this spirometer. Okay, and what is functional residual capacity? It also contains residual volume plus expiratory reserve volume. Okay, so this can also not be measured because residual volume is present, and in total lung capacity also the residual volume is present. Okay, it is also a part of total lung capacity. So what is the answer? So Kavya, Jivita, all of you were first to answer, but you should listen whole explanation, isn't it? So what is the answer now? Yes, you can all tell it correctly. The correct answer over here now will be all of this. Okay, the correct answer here now it will be all of this, and that is option D. Okay. Now coming to question number 16. So till now it is fun, isn't it? So how carbon monoxide emitted by the automobiles prevents the transport of oxygen to the body tissues? Option B, by inhibiting the exchange of oxygen at the alveoli. Option C, by changing oxygen into the carbon dioxide. And option D, by destroying the hemoglobin. Okay, so we all say that the pollution is increasing, and there is increase in the carbon monoxide in the circulation, in the atmosphere. Okay, and this carbon monoxide is formed by incomplete oxidation of oxygen. Okay, so what happens is that this carbon monoxide is 200 to 250 times more efficiently binding with the hemoglobin. It means that if the carbon dioxide binds with the hemoglobin, it is not going to leave it because it is a very strong bond. Okay, it is 200 to 250 times. Okay, whereas carbon dioxide has only 25 to 30 times affinity. Okay, only 25 times affinity. So if carbon monoxide goes and binds to the hemoglobin, it will not allow hemoglobin to bind with any of the other gas, isn't it? And that is why it forms a stable compound. This compound, that is hemoglobin plus carbon monoxide, forms a stable compound, and this stable compound is known as carboxyhemoglobin, and this stable compound is known as carboxyhemoglobin. Okay, and what was this carbon dioxide plus hemoglobin it was known as carbaminohemoglobin. Okay, carbaminohemoglobin. So what will be the answer for this question? Yes, Trisha, very well said. Yes, Kavya. Yes, Jivita, you all are correct. The correct answer would be option B. Stable compound is formed, so hemoglobin cannot bind to anyone else. Now coming to question number 17. Oxygen dissociation curve of hemoglobin is option A, sigmoid, option B, hyperbolic, option C, linear, and option D, hypobolic. Okay, it is very interesting and important question for the examination. So before answering this, I need to show you the oxygen dissociation curve. That what exactly is the oxygen dissociation curve. So see, this is the oxygen dissociation curve. Okay, and what is the shape? Okay, it is the S shape. Okay, see, it is going like an S, isn't it? It is an S shaped, and the S shape is also known as sigmoid shaped. S shape is also known as the sigmoid shape. And on the, yes, all of you, very well, Kavya, very well, Akshaya, Jivita, Trisha, yes, very well. So see, this is the S shaped curve. Other important question for the examination, that what is present on the y-axis and the x-axis. So on the y-axis, oxyhemoglobin saturation is present. Okay, it has been asked earlier. And on the x-axis, partial pressure of oxygen is present. Okay, then there is one thing that is known as, so these are the important point. After that, one more important question, it is when is the right shift and when it is the left shift. So see, right shift means that the graph is going to the right side. The right side, it means that in less of the, if we increase the for high saturation, the carbon dioxide is releasing. Okay, right shift means that oxygen easily dissociates from the hemoglobin. Okay, oxygen easily dissociates from the hemoglobin. And what are the things that leads to right shift? That are decrease in the pH, that is in the acidic medium, oxygen easily dissociates from the hemoglobin, or increase in the DPG or disphospho or bisphosphoglycerol. Okay, decrease in H plus, or increase in DPG, or increase in the temperature. So in this way, if these three conditions are present, the oxygen will dissociate and the curve will shift to the right hand side, and this is known as Bohr effect. This is known as the Bohr effect. And the opposite of the Bohr effect is another effect, and that is known as the Harden effect. So if the pH is increasing, that is alkaline medium, and DPG is decreasing and there is a decrease in the temperature, then oxygen will strongly bind with the hemoglobin, and this will lead to left shift. It will lead to left shift, and that is known as the Harden effect. So the correct answer is option A, as all of you have pointed it out. Now coming to question number 18, this question is important because of the ongoing pandemic that is going all over the world. So severe acute respiratory syndrome, that is also known as the SARS, is caused by, so option A, it is caused by a variant of Pneumococcus pneumoniae. Option B, is it caused by a variant of the common cold virus, that is known as the coronavirus. Option C, it is an acute form of asthma. And option D, it affects non-vegetarians much faster than the vegetarians. So what will be the correct answer? So I think I have given you enough hint that what will be the answer for this question. Yes, all of you. See, the Pneumococcus pneumoniae, it leads to pneumonia directly. Okay, it doesn't cause SARS. Okay, it doesn't cause SARS. Then asthma is a different entity altogether. It has nothing to do with SARS, and there is nothing like non-veg or veg. Okay, the virus doesn't leave anyone at all. So yes, Akshaya, you are very well correct. Yes, Trisha, it is the coronavirus, the all-time favorite of this month. It is the coronavirus. Okay, and one more bonus point for all of you is that this coronavirus acts by the ACE receptor. Okay, it can be asked in the question, so mind it. It acts by the ACE receptor. And where is the ACE receptor present? Okay, ACE is the acetyl, it is the ACE is angiotensinogen converting enzyme, angiotensin converting enzyme. And where it is present in the lungs. Okay, and in the lungs it is present, and that is why, which is the organ where the coronavirus act? Yes, it is the lungs. So the correct answer is option B. So correct answer is option B. Now coming to question number 19. Which of the following match is correct? Which of the following match is correct? Option A, emphysema. Emphysema, it is saying, is the reduction of the surface area of the alveoli and the bronchi. Option B, pneumonia. It is an occupational disease with asbestos. Option C, silicosis. Silicosis is the inflammation of the alveoli. And option D, asthma. There is excessive secretion of the bronchial mucosa. So what will be the answer for this question? So before telling you the correct answer, I should tell you that emphysema is the most common respiratory disorder that is asked each and every time in one of the question paper. Okay, so if you don't know answer also and you want to mark anything, go for emphysema one. Okay, so see, let us break this down. So yes, emphysema, it occurs in the smokers. It occurs in the chronic smokers. This smoke destroys this alveoli, and if it destroys the alveoli, there is decrease in the surface area of the alveoli, okay, and the bronchi. So the correct answer is option A. The correct answer is option A. And what is pneumonia? Pneumonia is not an occupational disease. Pneumonia is not an occupational disease. Then what it is? It is an infectious disease which is caused by bacteria or viruses. What is silicosis? Silicosis is a pneumoconiosis. Okay, it is a disease of the lung caused by the silica, and there is high cases of the silica coming from the Rajasthan area. And the asthma, in asthma there is not excessive secretion. In asthma there is hypersensitivity of lungs. Okay, there is hypersensitivity of the lungs. And the excessive secretion is seen in another condition, and that is known as bronchitis. It can also be asked. It has been asked till now, but can be. So yes, Trisha, Akshaya, Kavya, Jivita, all of you are again very well correct. Now coming to question number 20. Much developed larynx of human male is called? Option A, Aristotle's lantern. Option B, syrinx. Option C, Adam's apple. And option D, Muller's organ. So see, what happens that if you compare a male from a female, what you know that see, if you consider my voice, it is a bit harsh. Okay, we have low pitch voice, and why we have low pitch voice? It is because the voice box in us enlarges. Okay, as you can see in me also, see this part, this is a prominent part, isn't it? And this prominent part is known as Adam's apple. Okay, it is the related to story that Adam has eaten that apple, and that is why this prominence is there present in him, and that is why it is known as the Adam's apple. So as the Trisha, as the Akshaya was the first one to answer, yes, it is the Adam's apple. Okay, so it is option C. Okay, and mind it that syrinx, it is present in the birds, and Muller organ, it is related to the reproductive system. Okay, and you don't need to know the Aristotle's lantern. Now moving on to question number 21. Mark the incorrect statement. So which of the following statement is incorrect? Option A, herring brewer's reflex, a big term to remember. It prevents the overexpansion of the lungs. Option B, oxygen dissociation curve for fetal hemoglobin is on the left side with respect to the maternal hemoglobin. Option C, when pneumotaxic center transmits strong signals, then inspiration times becomes shorter. And option D, amount of air left in the lungs after normal expiration is termed as residual volume. So with this question, I want to hamper one important, I want to put one important concept in your mind, and that is there can be difficult options in the examination. Okay, and you don't need to know each of these difficult option, like you don't need to know that what is herring brewer reflex or what is fetal hemoglobin, but in the 4 options there will be one correct option, and that will be the simplest one, and it will be taken from direct from the NCERT. and that will be the correct answer for that question. So see, for this question number 21. So what is Herring-Brewer's reflex? See, if you go on taking the air, like you are taking the air, so you cannot go on filling the lungs, because if you take more air, the lungs will expand, it will stretch, and this stretching will cause a reflex, and that reflex is known as the Herring-Brewer's reflex. Okay, it is known as the Herring-Brewer reflex, and that will prevent over expansion. Option 2, oxygen dissociation curve. So fetal hemoglobin is present in the fetus. So fetal hemoglobin, it binds the fetal hemoglobin binds oxygen very strongly, and that is why the curve is shifted to which side? Yes, it will be shifted to the left side. That is, it will be the left shift. Okay, and this pneumotaxic center is opposite to the medulla respiratory center. Okay, medulla increases the respiration, pneumotaxic center decreases the respiration, and this pneumotaxic center, it is present at which part? It is present in the pons, and yes, it decreases the time of the inspiration, and this is option D. And we all know that the amount of air that is left in the lung after normal expiration is known as the residual volume. So the correct answer is option D. Okay, amount of air left in the after normal expiration is termed as the residual volume only. Okay, it is not the residual volume only, it is the functional residual capacity, because after normal expiration residual volume is present plus expiratory reserve volume is also present, isn't it? And that is why the correct answer is functional residual capacity. Residual volume will only be left if we are going for forceful expiration. So the incorrect answer is option D. Okay, it's you all are incorrect, sorry. The answer is option D. Now coming to question number 22. Which of the following is not a pollution related lung disorder? Okay, which of the following disease is not caused by the pollution? Option A, silicosis. Option B, pneumoconiosis. Option C, asbestosis. Or option D, leprosy. So if you know each of these options very well, then you will know that in one of the option there is not a pollution, it is a microorganism. One of the disease in this option is caused by the microorganism. So tell me, what is that microorganism? So that microorganism that is present in this option, it is Mycobacterium leprae, and this Mycobacterium leprae, it causes a disease, and that disease is known as the leprosy. So fourth, that is leprosy, is not caused by a pollution, and the rest three is caused by the pollution. So yes Saji, very well said. Yes Trisha, yes Kavya, all of you are again very well correct. The correct answer is option D. Now going to question number 23. The respiratory center which regulates the respiration is located in. Okay, although we have discussed it, but a bonus question for all of you because it is simple. Option 1, cerebellum. Option 2, medulla oblongata. Option 3, cerebral peduncle. And option 4, the vagus nerve. So what will be the answer over here? So we know that the respiratory center, there are two centers, that is the respiratory center, and the other one it is the pneumotaxic center. Okay, it is the pneumotaxic center. Respiratory center, it is present in the medulla. And it increases the respiration. Yes, all of you very well. Yes Kavya, first one to answer. Yes Jivita, yes Trisha, yes Aksha, all of you are correct. It increases the respiration, the respiratory center in the medulla, and the pneumotaxic center that is present in the pons, it decreases the respiration. So the correct answer is option B, that is the medulla oblongata. Now coming to question number 24. Which of the following is the most appropriate in normal circumstances? So option 1, during inspiration the intrapulmonary pressure is less than the atmospheric pressure. Option 2, during expiration the intrapulmonary pressure is less than the atmospheric pressure. During inspiration the intrapulmonary pressure is more than the atmospheric pressure. And option D, during expiration, the intrapulmonary pressure is equal to the atmospheric pressure. So what will be the solution for this question? So see, these are the lungs. Okay, these are our lungs. Okay, now look at me. When we go for inspiration, like we are going for inspiration, we are going for the inspiration. So during inspiration, the ribs are going upwards and outwards. Okay, it is going upwards and outwards, and the diaphragm flattens. Okay, so it increases in volume because the diaphragm flatten and the ribs are going upwards and outwards. So what is happening to the volume? What is happening to the volume? Volume is increasing. Compared to this, volume is increasing, and we know from the Boyle's law, PV is equal to constant. PV is constant. So if volume increases, pressure, what will happen to pressure? Pressure will decrease, isn't it? And that is why during inspiration, the intrapulmonary pressure, it will decrease than the atmospheric pressure. And because the pressure is decreasing, and that is why from the atmosphere air is coming inside. So what is the correct answer? Yes, Jivita, yes, Saji, yes, Kavya, all of you are very well correct. So the correct answer is option 1. During inspiration, intrapulmonary pressure decreases, and during expiration, the intrapulmonary pressure increases. And that is why the air goes out during the expiration. Now coming to question number 25. Which of the following set of condition promotes the dissociation of oxygen from the hemoglobin? Okay, so we are saying that the oxygen is dissociating from the hemoglobin, isn't it? So it is which shift? It is right shift. It is right shift. And what is this phenomena known as? It was known as the Bohr's effect. It was known as the Bohr's effect. And what are the three important compounds in which the shift occurs? So the three important compounds are that pH, that is if there is acidic pH, the oxygen will come out, that is decrease in pH, or then decrease in pH means high H plus. Okay, and if the carbon dioxide is more, okay, here the oxygen is bound to the hemoglobin, and if the carbon dioxide is increasing, if it is increasing, it will displace this oxygen out. Okay, and it will bind itself. So high PCO2, and if this oxygen is low, if the oxygen is low over here, then this oxygen that is bound, it automatically goes there because the concentration was low there. So the third thing would be low PO2. So what is the correct answer for this question? Yes, Kavya, you are first one to answer. So we have discussed, the correct answer is option 1. Now coming to question number 26. Session-12-Breathing is an occupational lung disease which may occur in. Okay, so there are various occupational lung disease that have a particular name, and that is caused by a particular agent. For example, we are talking about Session-12-Breathing. Okay, and apart from Session-12-Breathing, I will also tell you about the silicosis. Silicosis occurs in the glass factory worker, and it is due to silica that is present in the lungs. In the sugar mill workers, it is known as the bagasosis. It is known as the bagasosis. There is no particular name for the cement factory workers, and this coal miners, in them it is known as the pneumoconiosis. Pneumoconiosis, that is the anthraconiosis. So only the one option is left over here. And what is that one option? Yes, all of you. So the Session-12-Breathing is caused by a agent, that is the cotton. There is a dust present in the cotton that causes the Session-12-Breathing. So it is commonly seen in cotton mill workers. So the correct answer is option B, as Akshaya has rightly pointed it out. Now coming to question number 27. The alveolar epithelium in the lungs is. So what is the type of epithelium present in the lungs? Is it option A, non-ciliated columnar? Is it option B, non-ciliated squamous? Option C, ciliated columnar, and option D, ciliated squamous. So So first thing is that anywhere in our body where you want to move the things, if you want to move the things, okay, upwards or downwards, you will need cilia. Okay, so if we have to move things anywhere in the body, cilia has to be present. Then now coming to the epithelium part. So this is how the squamous epithelium look like. Okay, this is the cuboidal epithelium. Okay, and this is cuboidal, this one, and this is the columnar, and this is the squamous. So tell me which one of them is the flattest one. Okay, so the flattest one is the squamous. So if it is flat, oxygen doesn't have to travel longer area, so it directly goes and come into the circulation. So it has to be squamous. And then cilia is not needed in the alveoli, because in alveoli you don't need to push anything outside. Okay, so cilia is not needed. So the correct answer has to be option B, that is non-ciliated squamous epithelium, as Saji has very well pointed it out. So the correct answer is option B. And apart from that, one more important type of epithelium that I want you to remember is that it is the ciliated columnar epithelium. Okay, so this is the trachea. Okay, this is the trachea, this is the bronchi, and these are the lungs, So what happens is that while breathing inside, not always pure air goes in. Some of the dust particle also goes inside. So that is why we have to remove the dust particle, and that is why cilia has to be present in this area, that is trachea, bronchi, and that pushes the dust particle from lungs to the outside, from the nose to the nose. Okay, so in that area, ciliated columnar epithelium has to be present. Okay, now coming to some assertion and reason type of questions. So assertion, the assertion is oxyhemoglobin dissociates near the organ tissue due to Bohr's effect and the oxygen is released. Reason, increased carbon dioxide concentration reduces the affinity of the hemoglobin for the oxygen. Option A is that both assertion and reason are true, and reason is the correct explanation. Option B, both are true, assertion and reason, but the reason is not the correct explanation. Option C, assertion is correct but the reason is incorrect. And option D, both assertion and reason are incorrect. So we have discussed all the matter of that chapter till now. Okay, I have covered it, all the question. So I know that you all will be able to answer it correctly. So tell me, what is the correct answer? Yes, Kavya, very good. Yes, Trisha, very well done. Okay, because it is very hard to crack this assertion and reason type of question. So it is talking about the Bohr effect. Okay, near the tissue, because the oxygen is very less, that is why the oxygen dissociate, and in the tissues there is a right shift. Okay, and the other thing of the Bohr effect was the carbon dioxide, and because the oxygen is less, PCO2 is less and PCO2 is more, that is why Bohr effect is occurring and the oxygen is dissociating from the hemoglobin. So yes, assertion is true and the reason is also true, and this fact is explaining the assertion. So the correct answer is option A. Now coming to question number 29. Assertion, oxygen easily diffuses from alveoli to the tissues and CO2 from tissue to the alveoli. Reason is alveoli is two-celled thick and capillaries are thin walled. And here also the four options are all the same as we have discussed in the previous question. So tell me what should be the answer for this question. So for that I need to tell you about the alveoli and the epithelium. So I told you that in the alveoli, what type of epithelium was present? There the squamous epithelium was present. Okay, now the important point over here is that, okay, we are agreeing that this squamous epithelium is present, but what is the interpelvic pressure of lungs? It was asked in my Mohammed Jasim, actually interpelvic pressure. Okay, see, actually the answer for is in between 3 to 4. Okay, it is in between 3 to 4 mm of Hg. Okay, Jasim. But the main thing is that such type of question are well present in the older examination papers. Okay, and these questions are not seen regularly. Okay, so just mug it up. Okay, no concept over there. So here in the alveoli, the squamous epithelium is present. Now the thing is that in the alveoli, how many squamous epithelium is present? You need as many less number of epithelium as possible. So what is the least number of epithelium that should be present? It is 1. So here only the one epithelium, only the one layer of the epithelium is present, and because of this the oxygen and carbon dioxide easily pass from tissue inside from the tissue into the lungs, and from the lungs into the tissue. Okay, oxygen and the carbon dioxide. So yes, you all are correct. Yes, Saji, yes, Kavya, yes, Chivita. The answer is option C. I can really tell you that I am really very happy that you are able to answer all the question correctly. So the correct answer is option C. Now coming to the last question for this lecture, assertion. Emphysema is a chronic obstructive lung disease. It is causing irreversible distension and the loss of elasticity of the alveoli. And the reason is emphysema is preventable if chronic exposure to smoke and pollutants is avoided. So it is a tricky question, but I think just give it a try and answer something. Okay. See, I told you that emphysema is the all-time favorite disorder of the lungs asked by the examiner. So what happens in the emphysema? This is the alveoli. Alveoli has to expand. Okay, when the air enters, it will be expanding, and when the air goes down, it just shrinks. Okay, so that is why it needs a kind of elasticity. Okay, and that elasticity is destroyed in the disease that is the emphysema. And if the elasticity is destroyed, then it will just expand, and it will just expand, and it will not be able to shrink because the elasticity is gone, isn't it? So tell me, the assertion is correct or not? Yes, assertion is correct. And I have told you earlier that what is the cause of the emphysema? It is smoking in the majority. So yes, smoking is also the correct cause of the emphysema. But is this reason explaining the assertion that why the smoking is causing the this loss of distension? No, it is not explaining. It is not talking about the mechanism at all. Okay, so that is why the correct answer over here should be option B. Okay, I am really very happy that all of you have answered it very correctly. So yes, Trisha, yes, Kavya, yes, Akshay, yes, Jivita. Thank you for this lecture. It was really a fun session with all of you. So shall we sign out? Any question that you want to ask? Yes. So if there is no question, we shall leave then. Okay then. So see you in the next lecture. Thank you.